Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
The world woke up one morning to surprising news. News reports said the United States had attacked Iran. This news was a shock for many people around the world. Before this attack, there were big problems between the countries of Iran and Israel. The feeling between them was very bad. They were very angry. Their disagreements had grown into open fighting. There were attacks from both sides, causing worry in the Middle East region. Then the United States decided to act. It was a big decision. The United States planned and carried out a military mission. This mission was kept secret. Its name was Operation Midnight Hammer. The plan was to hit specific places inside Iran. These were places that were important for Iran's work with nuclear materials. The mission targeted Iran's nuclear sites. The United States military carried out Operation Midnight Hammer. They attacked these key nuclear places in Iran. This action was very important. It was the United States getting directly involved in the fighting between Iran and Israel. This military action by the United States started something new. It was a new chapter for the region, and it felt very dangerous. People worried about what Iran would do next. They worried about more fighting. The attack made the situation in the Middle East much more uncertain and risky. It was a difficult time beginning. This event changed the situation greatly. 2. The Big Attack. The U.S. military began Operation Midnight Hammer. This was a secret mission using stealth aircraft. Stealth B-2 bombers and other planes took off. They flew towards Iran, staying hidden. Iran's air defenses did not see them. The planes carried special powerful bombs. These bombs were called Massive Ordnance Penetrator. They are designed to destroy reinforced buildings, including those underground. The U.S. aircraft targeted 3 main nuclear sites in Iran. These were Fordow, Natanz, and the Isfahan uranium plant. These facilities were very important for Iran's nuclear program. They were also built to be very secure. The powerful bombs hit these key locations. They caused a lot of damage. The next day, President Donald Trump announced the mission was successful. He said the strikes had obliterated Iran's main nuclear enrichment facilities. U.S. military officials confirmed the success. They reported that the destruction at the 3 targeted sites was extremely severe. They said Iran did not detect the planes or fire any shots at them. Iran was caught completely by surprise. They did not expect it at all. Their military did not stop the planes. The government in Iran quickly worked to understand the damage. They needed to see how badly Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan were hit. The surprise attack was a major shock. It showed how effective the U.S. mission was at remaining undetected. Iran's nuclear program faced severe damage. The whole region waited, wondering what Iran would do after being hit so hard and so suddenly. 3. America cheers and worries. After the strikes on Iran, many people in Washington, D.C. were happy. They said the action was right and necessary. The U.S. military, called the Pentagon, gave a report. They said the destruction at the places hit in Iran was very bad. They used the words extremely severe. The Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, said it devastated Iran's ability to make nuclear fuel. He called it the biggest attack ever on Iran's nuclear program. President Donald Trump spoke to the country. He said he kept his promise to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Vice President J.D. Vance said the U.S. stopped Iran's program substantially, maybe for many years. President Trump told the people of Iran, "Make peace now." He warned them that if they did not, future attacks would be much bigger and stronger. The strikes hit only buildings, not military bases or people. But people in America had very different ideas about the strikes. Many people supported the action. These were often members of the Republican Party and some Democrats who support Israel. Important senators like Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio said President Trump was right to support Israel and show America's power. Senator Joni Ernst said it was critical to stop Iran from getting a bomb. However, other important people were worried. Some conservatives and some progressives said the U.S. should be careful and not start a bigger war in the Middle East. Two men in Congress, Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna, started to write a new law. This law would give Congress more power to decide if the country goes to war. They believe the president should ask Congress before attacking Iran. Thomas Massey said, "This is not our war." Some famous people who usually support President Trump, like Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson, also said the strikes were not good. They warned that America might get stuck in someone else's war. In cities across America, small groups of people came out. Some people protested against the war, holding signs that said things like, "Don't bomb Iran." Other people held rallies to support President Trump's decision. People talked and argued a lot online and in the news. When people were asked what they thought, opinions were almost evenly split. About half of Americans thought the strikes were needed, and about half were worried about the risks of more conflict. U.S. government groups that protect the country, like Homeland Security, gave a warning. They said that groups who support Iran might try to attack inside the United States. The State Department also told Americans who were traveling or living in other countries to be careful, fearing attacks or violence. The strikes made the situation in America less certain for politics and safety. 4. Iran is angry. After the attacks, everyone in Iran's government was very, very angry. They were unified. They all felt the same way. They demanded to hit back. They wanted revenge for what the United States did. The top leader in Iran is Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He spoke about the U.S. attacks. He called them savage aggression. This means he thought the attacks were cruel and violent. He made a strong promise. He said that bad things would happen to those who were responsible. He used the words irreparable consequences. This means results that cannot be fixed or made right again. Iran has a parliament, like a big meeting of government members. The parliament voted. Everyone voted yes. They agreed that Iran should take action to defend itself. They approved plans for reciprocal measures. This means actions taken against someone because they took actions against you. One important idea they talked about was closing the Strait of Hormuz. This is a narrow sea path. Many oil ships from different countries use this path. Closing it would cause big problems for the world's oil supply. It showed that Iran had ways to respond that could hurt others. The man who works with other countries is the foreign minister, Ali Bagheri Khani. He spoke clearly. He said Iran would use all possible means to respond. This means using every way they could. He also said no to talking or diplomacy right away. He felt it was not the time for words, but for action. He said Iran's answer would be strong. Important army leaders also spoke. These were generals from the IRGC, a special part of Iran's military. They gave warnings. They said Iran has many missiles and drones. They might use these weapons to hit back. They mentioned American army bases in the area. They also mentioned Israel. They said these could be targets for their missiles and drones. Iran did take a small action. They sent some rockets. It was a limited attack, meaning not a very big one. The rockets went towards Israeli military places. Israel stopped most of the rockets, but some soldiers were hurt. Other groups in the region also spoke. These groups are allies of Iran. People like Hezbollah, who are fighters in Lebanon, and Houthi rebels who fight in Yemen. They said they stand with Iran. They showed solidarity. They said they were ready to help and join in attacks against Israel and places where the U.S. military is present. Iran was showing that it was not alone and had friends ready to fight. 5. What will Iran do? After the attacks, Iran was angry, but its leaders had a difficult question: what to do next? Some people in Tehran spoke more calmly. President Masoud Pezeshkian and others quietly said that Iran's economy was not strong enough for a big war. The country already had money problems and high prices. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei had to decide. He had three main choices. The first choice was full war. This meant Iran would attack American soldiers or ships directly. Some people in Iran wanted this to get revenge. But leaders knew this could be very dangerous. It might make America attack Iran even harder, maybe destroying much of the country. The second choice was to fight using friends in the region. Iran could ask groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon to attack Israel or other places where America has interests. This was a less risky way for Iran to strike back. Iran could say it was not directly involved. This way, Iran could still hurt its enemies, but maybe avoid a full war with the United States. The third choice was to stop fighting and try to talk. Iran could show that it was ready to negotiate. Maybe it could use its damaged nuclear program as something to talks. Some people thought this was a way to avoid more problems. It could also be a way to get other countries to help Iran. Supreme Leader Khamenei often talks in a very strong way in public. He said Iran would surely take revenge. But behind closed doors, the leaders fought about what was best for Iran and for their power to continue. They needed to show strength, but also make sure the country could survive. The path Iran would choose was not clear. Each choice had big risks. Attacking directly could lead to disaster. Using friends might not be enough revenge for some. Talking might make Iran look weak. The leaders had to balance being strong with keeping the country safe. Everyone waited to see what Iran's next step would be. 6. People suffer in Iran. After the attacks, people in Iran faced a very difficult time. There was fear and confusion. At first, important services like electricity and water still worked. Trains and buses ran normally. But people were worried. They gathered in streets and shouted against the United States. People felt confused and bought important things quickly. Hospitals got ready for more injured people. Soon, Israeli attacks hit cities in Iran. These attacks hurt or killed many normal people. Doctors helped many people with injuries from small metal pieces. Houses and buildings in cities like Tehran were damaged. Iran's economy was already weak because of old problems. Now it became much worse. Around the world, the price of oil went up fast. This happened because people worried about the oil coming from the Middle East. In Iran, the money, called the rial, lost its value very quickly compared to the dollar. People rushed to stores. They wanted to buy food like rice and sugar and also medicine. Stores did not have enough things for everyone. The main bank in Iran tried to help banks and keep money safe. But people who study the economy said bad things were coming. They said prices would go up even more. The economy might get very small. More people could become poor. People might get very angry with the government. Ordinary people in Iran felt these problems the most. They worried about not having enough food or medicine. They were afraid of more attacks hitting their homes. President Masoud Pezeshkian said the country's money problems were worse than during the war with Iraq many years ago. Even some people loyal to the government were upset. They felt the country was taking big risks for a fight far away. The attacks hurt people's hopes for a peaceful future more than the buildings that were hit. 7. The world watches. After the United States strikes, the world watched closely. Different countries had different ideas. Israel supported the United States very strongly. Prime Minister Netanyahu said the attack was a necessary step. He felt it helped Israel stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. But America's friends in NATO, like the United Kingdom and Australia, were more careful. They said it was important to stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons, but they also wanted peace talks. The UK said war was not a good plan. Australia agreed that the problem must be solved with talking, not fighting. Countries in Europe also felt the same. The European Union did not like the military action. They asked for talking quickly to stop the situation from getting worse. Other countries did not agree with the United States at all. Russia and China said the United States strikes were wrong. They called the attack a break of international law. They said the U.S. was making things more dangerous. The United Nations held a meeting because Iran asked them to. Countries in the Security Council talked about the situation, but they did not agree. China, Russia, and Pakistan wanted the UN to say the bombing was wrong and ask for peace right away. But the United States used its power to say no. So the UN Security Council did not condemn the strike. The head of the UN asked everyone to be calm and talk. He said this situation was very dangerous and could start a bigger fight. Across the world, money markets were nervous. Oil prices went up because people worried about the Strait of Hormuz being closed. Armies in many places also became more ready for possible fighting. So the world looked on with worry. Some countries supported the U.S., some wanted talking, and some said the U.S. was wrong. Everyone wondered what would happen next in the Middle East. 8. A new problem. The attacks by the United States in June 2025 created a new situation in the Middle East. They changed the conflict between Iran and Israel a lot. Before these attacks, the United States was not directly fighting inside Iran. They supported Israel, but they did not make their own strikes on Iran's land. Now, the United States is directly part of the war. This is a big change and a risky step for American foreign policy. This moment is very important for the future of the region. In Washington, the capital city of the United States, people have different opinions. Some people support the strike strongly. They say the attacks were important to stop Iran from getting nuclear bombs. They see it as a necessary action against a major threat. They feel it was successful. But many other people criticize the action. They warn that America is now involved in a very difficult and dangerous war in the Middle East region. They worry that this could lead America into a longer, more costly conflict. They believe it was the wrong decision and carries too many risks. In Tehran, the capital of Iran. The supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has a very hard choice to make. He must decide if Iran should use its military to attack American targets in return for the strikes. This would be revenge, but it could also cause terrible damage to Iran if America attacks back even harder. His other choice is to try and talk with the United States, even though America just attacked Iran. This decision is about showing strength but also making sure his government survives. The situation is still very unstable and dangerous. Experts and leaders around the world are worried. They believe that even a small, unexpected event could quickly start a much bigger war between all the powerful countries involved. The entire world is watching closely and nervously to see what happens next. Leaders from both the United States and Iran are making public statements that sound strong and threatening. However, there might also be quiet talks happening to avoid more fighting. The Middle East region has now entered a time with a lot of uncertainty. It will be very difficult to find peace there. Any single mistake made by any side, no matter how small, could have terrible results for many people, not only in the Middle East but around the world. This direct involvement by the United States is the heart of this new problem. Can the leaders find a way to stop the danger from growing, or will the situation get worse?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.